Good morning to all. Myself Professor Archana from IIT Dhanbad. We are in course of Introduction to Python and Petroleum Data Analytics. So in this week I am going to start the data manipulation. In the last class we talked about some categorical encoding where we discuss ordinal encoding, target encoding, binary encoding and frequency encoding. In today's discussion I am going to focus in continuation with the previous topic. I am going to focus on dummy encoding, then one hot encoding versus dummy encoding, and then finally hashing and hash encoding. To start with this, dummy encoding. So dummy encoding also uses dummy variable. Instead of creating a dummy variable that is equal to the number of categories n in variable, dummy variable uses n minus 1 variable. So take this the example here. Okay. So previously we do talk about the one hot encoding where we do have a category, and in this category we wanted to encode in the numerical form. So inside this category, if we do have the number of values, like if this category is nothing but the color, and we do have the three color like a red, green and blue, and if I want to go ahead with the one hot encoding, what will be there? It will be take color underscore red, that's the one column it will create. Then another column color underscore green it will create, and the third one it will create color underscore blue. So this the three column will get it created. So how many value we had? 3. So if we do have the three values under the category which are the distinct value, the three column will get it created. So this the thing we get it in the one hot encoding. In the dummy encoding, what is happening? The variable will be created n minus 1. So that's the one. Okay, number of category in the variable. Okay, it will be created n minus 1 dummy variable will be get it created. Okay. So this is the example given here. We do have the color red, green, blue, and then when after doing the dummy encoding we do have the one column that is d1 and d2. Okay, so in dummy encoding red color is enclosed as a 1 0. So 1 0 is what? It is a vector of size 2, and then the other one green color is encoded as a 0 1. Okay, so that is also vector of size 2, and then blue color is encoded as a 0 0. So that is also vector of size 2. Okay, so but only two column was created. We do have the three variable but only two column were created. So dummy encoding, it removes a duplicate category present in the one hot encoding. So previously we do have seen the one hot encoding. Okay, now in the today's class we are going to use, and previously also we have used the category encoder. So when we are using the normal python base python, we do not have category encoder library. So what we have to do, we require to install pip install category encoder. Once we write this piece of the code pip install category encoder, we are going to get install this in our system. Once it will start, we require to restart the kernel, then this will get affected in our code. Okay, so now we are taking the dummy encoding. So it is as we have seen, it is a similar to the one hot encoding. This will be used for categorical data. We wanted to transform the categorical data into the numerical data or set of a binary variable which we term or which is known as a dummy variable. So in the case of a one hot encoding, what we have seen, n categories in variable, it uses the n binary variable, but here it will be take n minus 1. So here we do have we are doing the coding for the dummy encoding. So start with that. Just now we have installed pip install category underscore encoder. So we are importing that. So import category underscore encoder as CE. So this is the alias name given. Then import pandas as PD because I am using the data frame. So data equal to PD dot data frame. So for the example, I have taken the cities. So under city, I do have the city's name where sometime it is getting repeated also. So Delhi is getting repeated, so and Hyderabad is also getting repeated. So when we see the original data, what we see, the print data, after putting that command, once we run it, okay, we get this output. So this is an index, and then we do have the column city. So this is the thing we get it. Okay, now we wanted to do the dummy encoding on the city column. Okay, to do this one, what we have to do, encode the data, that's the comment part. Then we start data underscore encoded. Okay, this is the variable. I am putting the data frame which I will be getting pd.get dummies when we call, where data equal to data I am passing as a parameter here. And when next we wanted to see the data encoded, what we are able to see here, we are able to see this, the column, which is the how many column we can see it here, 1 2 3 4 5 column we can see it here. Okay, so this is the one thing. Okay, now here we put it data equal to data. Okay, when the same code we are using data underscore encoded pd.get dummies, and here we are making drop underscore first equal to true, and then we wanted to print the data underscore encoded how many column we can see it here, 1 2 3 4. So first column, that was the Bangalore, here it get it dropped. So how many parameter were here, if you independently we will be taking, so 1 2 3 4, and then we do have the 5. Okay, so 5 parameter we do had. Okay, so 5 independent parameter, different values, variables were there. And when we have gone ahead with the get dummies, okay, method from the category underscore encoder, okay, what we are seeing, we are able to see the 4 columns. So first one is get it dropped, how, when we do drop underscore first. Okay, so this way we work with the dummy encoder. So with the same example, we are taking the one hot encoding. So one hot encoding we have previously talked about. Okay, so here when we are taking the one hot encoding, after one hot encoding, what is happening, we do have the 3 column d1 d2 d3. Okay, and here red color is encoded as a 100. It's a vector of size 3. Here it is a vector of size 3, vector of size 3. So when you see this one, it is a vector of size 3, and in the dummy encoding it is a vector of size 2. So what we have reduced the one column. Okay, and this way the code will be a bit we can call faster. Okay, so dummy or binary variable just takes the value 0 or 1, and it negates the inclusion of or exclusion of a category. So 0, what it represents? It represents the exclusion or absence. Okay, and 1, what it represents? It represents inclusion or presence. Okay, so this is the thing in hot encoding we have talked. So this moving ahead with the one hot encoding with the coding part. Okay, so again we are going to import category underscore encoder as a CE, then import panda, then created the data frame. Now what we are doing, we are doing the fit for this the category column, where here I do have the city. So we wanted to do the categorical encoding using the one hot encoding for the city column. Okay, so created the data frame. Now create object for one hot encoding. So how we will be doing, we will be initializing encoder equal to ce dot one hot encoder, and then column we are passing city, then handle unknown. Okay, so if there is no value, so there should be we are using this code will be able to handle the NaN value also. Then we wanted the return should be in the data frame, so that why return underscore data frame we have put it true. And then lastly use cat names, which we wanted to keep the one which is having the value under the city, that I wanted to use as a column name, so associated with the city. So this the one we have been, how many column you can see it here, 1 2 3 4 5. So total we have the 5 distinct attribute under the city, and along the 5 attribute or variable we do have the 5 column using the one hot encoding, and where we can see it is a 0 or 1 value. So wherever it is a 1, that means presence, and if it is 0, it is absent. So first we do have the Delhi. So Delhi we do have the corresponding to 0 index, so we do have the presence, other values are 0. Then the second one we do have the second Mumbai. So Mumbai is here, so 1 is for the Mumbai and other are 0. So 0 means exclusion and 1 means inclusion. So similarly at the second position, index position, we do have the Hyderabad. So for the Hyderabad only we do have a 1 and other it is 0. So it is like that. Okay, so this the code we do talk about. So this column, what it specify from this data frame, we wanted to look for the city column. Handle unknown equal to return none. What it dictates how unknown categories encountered during the transformation. What we are doing, we are transforming under the feature scaling. So that means categories present in the new data but not seen during the fit phase will be handled. Okay, so in this case they will result in NaN. Okay, so that's the one thing, return NaN, it is mentioned. Okay, so that values in the newly created one hot encoded column. Then we do have wherever there will be some there may be missing data. I am doing the encoding for the particular column. I am doing for the city column. So in my example all the values are there, no values are missing, but there could be chances when I have the one attribute which is a blank, no values are present. So in that case how it would be replaced with the NaN. Okay, so that's the thing, return df true. What we want to do, ensure that the transform method of the encoder returns a pandas data frame rather than a numpy array. Okay, and then use cat names to what it instructs the encoder to use the original category name from the city column to form a name of the new hot encoded column like city Delhi, city Mumbai. Okay, it's like that. Now, so what we have seen the dummy encoding and one hot encoding. Now moving ahead, we do have the second thing, that is the hashing. So we are going to finally, first we are understanding what is the hashing, how does it work, then we will be moving to the hash encoding, which is the part of the categorical encoding. So talking about the hashing, what is the hashing? It is a process, it refers to the process of generating of fixed size output from an input of a variable size using the mathematical formula, and that formula what we do call it hash function. Okay, so we wanted my output should be a fixed size and my input is not in my hand, it is a variable size, and using the mathematical formula what we are going to do, that this input I am going to put in the output. Okay, that is nothing but the hash table, and it will be of the fixed size. So how we are going to do that? For that we do have the couple of the hash function which we would be seeing it. So these techniques, what it determines an index or location for the storage of an item in a data structure. Okay, so see here we do have a list. So list is having the value 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now the hash of x I put it, and this the mathematical formula we are talking about. So how we are, this list, it is having the different element. Okay, inside that this is int type. So this list element I wanted to put in the hash table. So this each individual element I wanted to put in the hash table. So this the how many I have the total, this hash column I have total 5. Okay, so 0 1 2 3 4 5, so that means 6 places. Okay, I wanted to keep my these value. Okay, so what this techniques does, it determines an index or location. So here this is the 0 1 2 3 4 5, this is the index in my table. So this the table I mentioned, it is my hash table, and it does have the value starting from 0 1 2 3 4 5. So this the value, these are the index value, and when it does not mean in the list when we do the indexing, zero based indexing. So this 11 is the first, and this is 11th is the 0 index, and then 12 1 2 3 4. So it is like that. But here I have the some output input I am putting in the output which is having the fixed size. Okay, so now this the replacement of this 11 where it will be going, that I have make it using some mathematical formula. So what is that? Hx, as hx is the hash. Okay, and x is the key. So 11 is my key. So 11 modulus 10. So what it gives? This is the formula I have put it. Okay, 11 modulus 10. So this is the some kind of division I am putting it. So whatever the element, it is 11, and it will divide by the 10, and what the value I am getting? Remainder I am getting 1. So that's the gives 11 modulus 10 give me one value. So this the 11 will be going to the first index position. Similarly 12, it will be going to the second index position. It is similar, it is like that. So this the formula I am using, but this is not the only formula we do have. We do have the some more which are going on under the hash function we will be seeing. Okay, so what is the need for this hash data structure? Okay, already we do have for the list, we do have this data structure of list. So why we are going ahead with this one? Okay, so the amount of data on the internet in any field we are working, it is a growing exponentially every day and making it difficult to store it all effectively. Okay, so if I will do talk about the oil and gas industry, okay, we do have the enormous amount of data, and what we required, we wanted to store it and then we wanted to access it effectively. So in day to day programming, this amount of data may not be that big, but still it need to be stored, accessed and processed easily and efficiently. So we do have a very common data structure that is used for such purpose, that is a array data structure we keep in the array. Now we do have a question, when we have already array, and then what is the need of the new data? Okay, so the answer is this array works efficiently also. How it is storing the data? Array takes 0 1. So what is 0 1? So we do pronounce constant time 0 1 wherever it is written with respect to this one, we do pronounce as a constant time. So what it describes, an algorithm efficiency, meaning its running time is constant and does not change with the input size. If I have to store 1 lakh value, okay, so and I have to store value 1, so this is the two value. I have to store 1 lakh and I have to store 1. So these two storing, it will be taking the constant time, so the time is not getting changed based on the input size. So that's the thing we call the constant time. Okay, so this time appears to be small. Okay, but for the large data set it can cause a lot of problem, and this in turn make array data structure insufficient. Okay, so that's the one thing. So what is solution of that one? We do have the hash data structure. So now we are looking for a data structure that can store the data and search in it in a constant time. Okay, so that's the one thing. So still it is, we have a need of a data structure which can handle the enormous amount of data and it will be searched in a constant time. So answer is that we do have the hashing. Okay, so this is how hashing data structure came into play. So with the introduction of a hash data structure, okay, what we do have under that, we require to understand there are mainly three components of a hashing. One is the key, another one is the hash function, and the third one is the hash table. So see this one, the component of the hashing. So this the key we are talking about. So this is the input value we do have. Okay, like this the key we do have. Then we are talking hash function. Then we do have the hash table. Okay, so what is this key? Okay, so a key can be anything. Okay, string or integer which is fed as an input. Okay, so key, what we have, key is nothing but we do have the input here. Okay, so this the key which is nothing but the input. Okay, in the hash function, the technique that determines an index or location for the storage of an item in a data structure. Okay, so this can be anything, string or integer, which is fed as an input in the hash function. And the technique, so this hash function is a technique that determines an index or location for storage of an item in a data structure. So this is my key. So when we do talk about the hash function, so what is the hash function? We do have a key which we have as a input, or input which is as a string or your integer. Now talking about the hash function, so hash function receives the input key, and what it returns? It returns the index of an element in an array which is called the hash table. Okay, so the index is also known as the hash index. Then what is this table? Hash table is a data structure that maps key to value. Okay, using the special function called the hash function. Okay, so now see this one. So we do talk about the hash key. Okay, we do talk about the hash function. Okay, so now moving on to the hash function, how it helps. So it, first thing, the data table. Okay, first thing is the hash table. So the most common use of a hash function in data structure algorithm DSA is in the hash table, which provides an efficient way to store and retrieve data. Then second, data integrity. Hash functions are used to ensure the integrity of the data by generating the checksum. Then cryptography. In cryptography application, hash functions are used to create the secure hash algorithm. Okay. Now talking about the hash function, how does it work? So there is a primary some type of a hash function which I am discussing it here. So this is the division method. So how the division method work? It is the easiest and quickest way to create a hash value is through the division. So the k value is divided by m in this hash function and the result is used. So how it would be? So h of k, okay, equal to k of mod m. Okay, so this the one we do have. So hk is the what? It is nothing but the hash value. Okay, so hk, whatever we get this result here, that is nothing but your hash value, or we can call that index. Okay, k is the key being hashed. Okay, so the key which is being hashed. And then m is the size of the hash table or number of available slot or bucket. So what we have seen it, okay, in the initially we have seen it, this is the one I do have a hash table. Okay, now I am taking the value, okay, that is 20, okay, 35, okay, then I do have 38, okay, then we do have 42, okay, and then we do have 100, okay, then we can have this assume you have 129, okay, then we do have 137, okay. Now you can, here one by one we will be seeing how it works. So first we have put it size of the hash table, so we wanted to put it in the 0 to 9, okay, so 0 1 2 3 4 5, okay, 0 1 2 3 4, then you will 5 6 7 8 and then 9, okay. So this the 9, that means total what we do have the 10 value, okay. So effectively we do have the 10 value. So this the one we do have 0 to 10 blocks we do have where I wanted to put. So this value will vary 0 to 9, so 10. So now the first we will be seeing, so k mod of m, so m is 10, so k is my 20 value, so k modulus of 10, so what it is giving 0 remainder, so where it will be going to the 0th position. Second assume I have the 35, so 35 second one I do have the 35, so 35 modulus 10, so or so what it is, it will give you, okay, it will give you the remainder 5, okay. So it will go to the, this is first, this is 0 first second third fourth fifth, so it will go to 35. So it is like that. So here we are clear. So this the whatever the remainder it is I am getting, that is nothing but it is a hash value or index. Okay, so once this mathematical operation hk of k mod of m will take place, whatever this operation will give, that is my hash value or index, and key is the key being hash. So what the one, these are the key I wanted to hash, okay, so these are the value, and m is the one which is the size. So here I have keep it 10, maybe I have the 6 only, okay, okay. So in the 6, then it will be k mods 6, okay, so the k percent 6, okay, and whatever the remainder will be there, correspondingly it will be going here. So this the one thing, okay. So division method we have seen it. Second comes the mid square method. So what the it would be, the following step was required to calculate the this one, okay. So we do have this mid square we are doing, okay. So this the value, just the one example I have put it. So these are my k value, okay. So these are my k value. So now what we wanted to take the mid value of this one, okay. So just simply you require to take, okay, a square of this one. So this take the square of this one, okay. So k into k, what is the hk, hash key would be hk into k, okay. and then take the mid value. It is something like that. That's the name given, mid square method. So this the take the square of this one. So 3205 square, and then similarly this one, this one. I took the square of all. Okay. Then take the mid value. Okay. Leave the both side equal and take the mid value. So here the mid value it is coming. So 72, 93, 99. These are the my hash key. Okay. So if I do have a value of 100, okay, so it will be going to the respective index position 72, 93, 99. So it is like that. Okay. So it will start from 0 and it may go till 99. Okay. So respectively, this the last value 2, 3, 4, 5 will go to this one. Okay. So this is the mid square method. Now we do have the another method, that is a folding method. So how does it work? The folding method in the hashing is a technique used to create a hash value from key, particularly useful for key with a large number of a digit or character. So how it involves? Divide the key into the segment. Okay. And then combine the segment and apply modular operation, optional but not common. So see, we will understand this with this example. We do have a, consider we do have this the key. Okay, we can see it, it's quite a big key. Okay, so this is nothing but the phone number, and we do have a hash table with 11 slot. So it will be from 0 to 10. Okay, so we do have the 11 slot. So 11 slot we have starting from 0, 1, 2, it will go till 10. So this is the thing. So this the phone number required to get it, put it in any of this correspondingly index position. So what we are going to do, divide the key into segment. Okay, so divide the key into segment of a chosen size. So assume that we have chosen the two digit segment. So this all will be getting divided into two. 1, 2, 3, 4. So like that I do have 5. So 10 I have the value. Okay, because I am working with the phone number for the example taken. So I do have the total 5. Okay, so 2 digit I have done. Then what the next thing, we require to sum this up. So sum this up, you now have 210. Now I have the 11, that is my bucket or hash table slot, 11 slot I have. So I am applying the modulo of that one. So 210% modulo of 11, so I get the 1. But the remainder I am getting 1. So this the phone number will get it stored here. So this is the one thing. So therefore the key, that is the one which is nothing but the phone number, would be stored at index 1 in the hash table using currently I have used the folding method. Okay. Another, there is one more variation here. So there is variation folding at the boundary. What does it mean? There's another way. So a variation known as folding at a boundary, what it does, involves reversing every other segment before summing them. So the same phone number we took it, divide and reverse alternating segment. So this is the one 43. Here start no reversal, then second reverse, and then this number 56 will turn 65. Then again no, then again do it. Okay, so like that we will proceed. Then we sum this up. Okay, the one which is not reverse and the alternate one is reverse. Okay, so we have added all. Okay, so what we are getting it here. Okay, we are getting the value here 219. Okay, so again we will be, in this case this would be stored at index 10 using the folding at the boundary method. So we do have the two things, one is the normal folding method and then we are using folding at the boundary. Okay, so two way we do have. Another hash function we have here, multiplication method. So what is the formula? H of k. Okay, so that is the hash key. Okay, floor of m, k a modulus of 1. Okay, so how it works, m is the size of the hash table here and k is the key value and a is the constant. Okay, so we will understand this. To perform hashing with the multiplication method, we multiply the key by a constant a. What is a? It will vary from 0 to a. So it takes the, after once we multiply the key value with this value, the fractional part of the product we require to take and multiply the fractional part by the table size or bucket, which is m, finally taking the floor of the result to get the hash value. So we do have one example. So key is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So table size we took 100. Then a value I have taken some fractional which is 0 to between 0 to 1. Now the step 1, first we require to do k. So just did this multiplication, we get this value 7629.96. Then fractional part, that is a 0.96, we took that one. Then we just multiply, and the value, hash value is the floor, okay, of this, so 96. So take the floor of the result. So this, after taking the floor of the result, so 96 is the hash value or index for the key. So this the one, the method about the multiplication method. Okay, so what the problem here it could be, we can have the more number of a value, okay, but I have the bucket size fixed. I have input, it is in 100 in number. So total input, I have the 100 different input I do have, and then bucket size I do have only 10. Okay, 10 bucket size I do have. Okay, or hash key value only 0 to 9. So this 100 different input value I require to put in this index. So how we will be proceeding? Okay, so we do have some method, but this phenomena we call the hash collision. So what is the hash collision? So collision in a hash table is a term used to denote the phenomena when the hashing algorithm produces the same hash value for the two or more keys using the hash function. So this is the hashing collision we are talking. So we do have a key 10 and key 15. Now hash function I am applying it here, division. Once we apply the hash function division, so and then modulus of 10. So here also it will return 0. Reminder, here also return 0. So now once it returns 0 and I have the bucket size of 5. Okay, so 5 bucket size. So already 0 position would be occupied by 10. Okay, so first key I have used 10. So it will do the operation, mathematical operation, that is a division, and it will be, okay, value will become, it will take the index position 0 and the value will be, key value will put it here like a dictionary. Okay, now when I do have to operate on key value, that is a 15, I do the same mathematical operation, we get it again 0 as a remainder. So what we see, already one value is there. So what is the value will again go to the same inside the one which is already occupied, or it will be moved to the second one which is unoccupied. So we do have a couple of the problem which would be handled, and this collision phenomena. So this the phenomena we call the collision. So moving on, so how the collision will take care. So collision resolution techniques in data structure we do have. One is the open hashing, and we can call it separate chaining or closed addressing. Then we do have the open addressing or closed hashing. Then we do have the couple of the different collision resolution techniques in the data structure which handle the collision situation, which currently I am not discussing it here in the detail. Okay, so now moving on, we will come to the coding part. So building a hash table. So we do have the 5 step to build the hash table. So build a hash table to store the unique first name inside it. So how to proceed this one? We do have the 5 step. So first create a empty list. So it can also be dictionary or a set. Okay, so then next create a hash table. Then insert a element using the hash function. Then looking up an element using a hash function. Then finally handling the collision. So here we have created one list which is currently empty. So all none values we have here. Now we have created one hash function. So def hash function we have created. Okay, and then value we require to pass. So sum of char, that's a variable we are putting to 0, and then putting the for loop for char in value. Okay, sum of char plus equal to odd char, and return sum of char percent modulus 10. Okay, so what this new function here, odd char. Okay, so we will see it here. So this the odd char function in Python is a built-in function that returns a unique code point of a single character. Okay, so this means it takes a string containing a single character as an argument and returns an integer representing that character position in the Unicode character set. I do have the Bob. Okay, so Bob. Okay, so this is the B capital, O small, and B small. Okay, so this is the table, ANSI table, and I am looking for this. For Bob, I am looking for the value. So B, I will find it out. B is here 66. Okay, so B is has a Unicode number 66. Then second letter I do have O. So that's the small. Okay, so O small, I will find it out 111. Okay, so this is the one. Then last one I do have a B. That is a small. So it is a 98. So how many values? 66, 111, and then 98. Okay, so this is corresponding to B, this is corresponding to O, this is corresponding to B. Now what will happen? It will get added all together, and then we do have the 275. Now 275, if I will take modular of 10, okay, so it will give me remainder 5. So Bob will be stored at the fifth position. So this is the one thing. We have defined one function and it is working this way. So when Bob has a hash code, okay, so hash function, when we call this hash function and take this variable, that is a Bob here, and then it will work, okay, and then what the output you are getting, index position you are getting 5. Okay, so first what we have done, we have created a empty list and then created a hash function. Okay, now moving on. So the number returned by the hash function we call the hash code. Okay, so now create this, we have seen, we have created the list, hash function we have done. Now inserting a value. Okay, so Bob we have inserted. So how inserting an element would be done? According to our hash function, Bob should be stored at index position 5. Now let's create a function that add items to our hash table. So here another function we have created, def add name index equal to, we have put it hash underscore function. Okay, so that's the one which we have created here, hash underscore function. Okay, now name we are passing it here, and then lst index equal to name. So what it will done, now I will call that add function and I will add the different value, so it will go to different position. Okay, now moving on. So we have created it and inserted an element. Okay, so it has gone to the respective position. Now looking up a name. Now that we have a super basic hash table. Okay, now we wanted to look for some name. Okay, so to find pete in the hash table, we give the name pete to our hash function. The hash function returns 8, meaning that pete is already present. Okay, so this is the one what we are passing. We are passing contains pete. What we here we are passing contains pete. So now we have created one more function to check that, looking up the name. So initially we have created one function, then next we have added the value, added the element, and now we have created one function which will check me that value is present or not. So it will return either true or false. So def contains we have created and we are passing the name, then index is equal to hash function name, and then we wanted to check. Okay, and then we wanted to check with the equal to name. So now we passed contains name, so it is returning me true. Okay, now there is a situation how it will handle the collision. So now we have added the stored, okay, in hash table. Okay, so we give stored to our hash function which we are passing it here. Now we wanted to give the add stored to our hash table. So what we do, we give stored to our hash function which returns me 3. But what is there already, meaning that stored should be stored at index position 3. Okay, when we try to store at index 3, okay, what it creates, what is called a collision, because we are saying Lisa is already present at the index position 3. So this is the 0, 1, 2, and this is the 3. So the 3 is already presented or occupied by the Lisa. So what is happening in this case, when I am passing stroke, it returns the index 3 and it should go and get it placed here. Okay, but it is a collision situation we are facing it here. To fix the collision, we can make a room for more element in the same bucket. How we have to proceed? We require to make a more room. So this is the one we do have. Okay, so this is the bucket we are talking about. Okay, so one way what we will be doing, we have already Lisa here. So another way we will be putting next to that, like a nested list, we have been here the Stuart. Okay, now one more, it will be coming to the, assume this is the position one we are talking about. So now the next, again one more element will be coming, so it will go to the next, like that. Okay, so this is the one way. Okay, so fix the collision, we can make a room for more element in the same bucket. So here also in the same bucket one position we are making the room. Okay, this is the one way. So solving the collision problem in this way, it is called the chaining, means giving room for more element in the same bucket. Okay, so this is the chaining we are doing, one after another. So what is that? This is the example of the chaining. Okay. So start by creating a new list with the same size as the original list but with the empty bucket. Okay. So see, again we have created the list with the empty bucket. Okay. Now inside the list we have created. Okay. So rewrite the add function and add the same name as before. Now we are rewriting the add function. Okay. Now we do have the Stuart, okay, and Lisa as well, which both will return index position 3. Okay. Now you can see define, again we have rewritten the add function. So add function, then index has function name, list index dot append name. Okay, so now we are adding this one. Now added all and print list. So now you can see it here, one position vacant, now 0 position vacant, then 1 and then 2 vacant, and the third position both the list. Okay, it is appended one after another. So this is the example of chaining. Okay, so this is the way it is working. So this way it was handled. So this the all discussion about the hashing. Okay, because one of the under the categorical encoding we do have the hash encoding. So first I thought to first explain what is the hashing, then I should move to the hash encoding. So hash encoding is the techniques, okay, that converts the categorical variable into a numerical value using the hashing function. So now we know the hashing function, what is all about the hashing function. So hashing function is having the division method, then multiplication, then we do have another method which we do talk, couple of the method we do have talked here. Go back. Okay, so these method we do talk. Division method, mid square method, folding method, multiplication method. Okay, so these the method we do talk about under this. And then we have understood by one coding how to create a hash table and how to handle the collision also. Okay. So now we have come to the hashing encoding. So what we have seen it here. Okay, so we required the in the hashing encoding. Okay, we do the in this technique, this conversion of a categorical variable into the numerical values will be there using a hash function. So it is useful for the large data set as it requires less memory than the one hot encoding, and it is faster than the other encoding techniques. So hash encoding maps each category to a unique integer value within a predefined range using a hash function. Okay. So however, we do have seen there could be chances of collision can occur and leading to reduce the model performance. To avoid collision, what we had to do, a larger hash space or different hashing function may be used to tackle this one. So checking this one with the coding. So again we require to import category underscore encoder as a C, then import panda, then created the data frame of the month. Okay, then we have seen this is the original data we do have, this is the output we do have here, output. So once we call this original data, so we get this result. Okay, now month column after hash we wanted to see. So what we have to do, create a object for hash encoder. So encoder we have initialized equal to CE from the category encoder. Okay, that is the alias name I'm using, CE dot hashing encoder. Okay, that's the one, hashing encoder. And against what we wanted to do, against the month column. So this is the month column. Okay, I wanted to do the encoding, hash encoding, and n component, how many component or bucket I wanted to have, to the 4 I wanted. So n component equal to, I have the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this again we will be fitting and transforming. So encoder underscore column col dot hash, then what we did, encoder which just now we initialized dot fit transforming, we are just fitting here, fitting and transforming, checking the data which the data is a categorical one, and then transforming as per this hashing encoder it will transform. Then after that what we wanted to see, we wanted to see the column month after hash. So this the one we will call and it will show me as a data frame. So hashing encoder available within the category encoder library, and what it does the hashing uh, encoding for given data. Okay, so that's the one thing. Okay, now moving on. Okay, here we have done for n component equal to 4. Okay, now here we did it n component equal to 5. Okay, so what is the only difference? Here we do have the 5 column created. Okay, and here we do have the 4 column created. Okay, so that's the thing. So n component only we have changed it here. Okay, so now I come to the conclusion part. So in the today's discussion we do talk about the categorical data encoding technique, where we have started with the dummy encoding and then moved to the one hot encoding, and then we have seen how it is different from the dummy encoding, and lastly I talk about the hashing and hash code. So this is all for today. Thank you. See you in the next class.